What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Designsmith. Today we are going to be continuing our Are You Afraid of the Dark Swiss poster series. And today's episode is the tale of the Sorcerer's Apprentice. Before we get started, please remember to hit like and subscribe. It helps me out with the channel and I really appreciate it. So I've always liked this episode. It gave me some really creepy vibes as a kid. However, watching it as an adult, I remember that it's not as great as it was when I was a kid. But nevertheless, it's still a good episode. It's not great, but it's certainly not as bad as some others have been. And luckily, we're still a good ways away from the bad episodes. Alright, so just like all of these other posters, we are going to start with pen and paper. And you're all going to be thrilled because I have gotten myself a camera mount for this camera so that you can actually see what I'm drawing while I'm drawing it. What a novel concept for YouTube, huh? Still have the microphone in my face while I am contorting myself around this new mount, but that's fine. Okay, so the episode itself centers around this red glowing sphere. So we are actually going to cheat just a little bit in adding a little bit of a glow effect to this sphere. As you all know, I'm very, very good at drawing circles. So I'm going to draw this gorgeous, beautiful, completely round and free of imperfections circle right here. As a matter of fact, now that I've actually drawn this, I've decided to move the ball down the page. And we'll add the text up here. And what the heck, we'll do all of the text up here at the top. This is not meant to overlap the ball. We are just going to be moving the ball down. And there's some really subtle things that we can do with our shapes to give it some extra dimension. So I'll show you how to do that as well. All right, let's take this sketching masterpiece and go to Illustrator. All right, I'm back to my regular setup here. The camera mount is no longer directly in front of my face, so I can actually see what I'm doing now. Let's get rid of all of these shapes right here, and we'll just temporarily color these black. And let's make sure that we copy some grids over. So let's go and unlock these guides, copy these over here, make sure that we're 2 inches in, and we are. And I also want to grab some of these guides from up here. All right, we're good there, and let's go ahead and lock our guides. All right, first I'm just gonna move the text up here to the top, and we will figure this out later. I'm gonna go over here to my ellipse tool, and we're just gonna draw a circle. And let's go ahead and center it. It's actually gonna be hanging just a little bit lower down here. I think we'll anchor it probably to this gutter right here. And rather than going up here or here, I'm gonna actually go to right there. This is a fairly small sized sphere, so I don't want it to take up too much space on the poster. All right, so we're just gonna color this red. I'm actually gonna go in here, and there's like a little bit of a kind of a pinkish hue.
A pinkish hue? Yeah.
So I'm gonna slightly shift it over there. All right, and there's a few things that I want to do with this. I want to give it a little bit of extra dimension so it's not 100% flat. And then once we color the background and the text and everything, and we have everything colored exactly as we want, I'm going to add a very slight glow to this. Completely breaking the rules of traditional Swiss poster design, but that's totally fine. No one's going to buy this anyway. All right, so let's copy this and paste it in front. And we're going to slightly bring this down to about right there. And we are going to double click on our color here and just lower down that just a little bit, make it just a little bit darker. And as you can see, simply by doing that, we have added some dimension here. And I think I'm going to align this to the right and the top so that that dimension is seen on the bottom left here. And now that we have a shadow down here on the bottom left, we need to have some kind of a light on the top right. So we'll copy and paste this in front again, bring this up to about here, bring this to here, and let's give this a nice light version right up here. And now we're just going to grab these two anchor points, hit delete, and then just enlarge this right here. And we're going to go over here to the Pathfinder tool and click on Unite. That's going to make this a compound shape. So now we can grab this anchor point and convert it to smooth and do the same thing over here. And now we're going to add an anchor point to roughly the center. This doesn't have to be perfect. And then again with our direct selection tool, just grab this and bring it to about right here. Let's bring it in just a little bit more. That looks about right. And then you can always expand or contract the handles, and I think we're gonna expand this just a little bit. All right, looking good. And now I want to get this just a little bit closer to our color. I think it's gonna work better if we kind of do something like this, real subtle. And then we'll just adjust it. I think right here would be a good spot. All right, that's looking good. So now let's go ahead and grab all of this and group it together. That way we can just grab it and move it however we want. Now I'm gonna go to Object, Unlock All. This background is going to be like a really dark green. I'm gonna try to make it look not too Christmassy here, but we need to do something like this where it's like a dark green and not too much saturation here. And let's select all of our text and deselect that background. We're just going to color drop on this white. And now we will change this to the Sorcerer's Apprentice. Can't believe I typed that correctly the first time. And this one was told by Betty Ann. And I'm just going to guess that this aired on October 10th, 1992. It was actually October 17th. I wonder why there was a 2-week difference there. We'll change this to episode 9. And this one was directed by DJ McHale. So let's copy from over here. So that way we maintain the exact same kerning. And now we can just shift and eyedrop to maintain the same color. All right, looking cool. Now that I'm looking at this, I wonder if we can just kind of play with the layout a little bit. Maybe move it over to the right side. Let's see, I think that actually works pretty well. It balances out with this. Let's go ahead and align our type to our guides here. And I'm going to bring this up here to the top, align that T perfectly with our guide, and go even further in to show how incorrect I was. Now let's grab this little quadrant here, move it up here, and our B is nice and flush with that. And since I don't want a ton of space in between these right here like this, we are going to go in here and make a subquadrant. So let's unlock our guides, drag another guide down here, draw a rectangle going right here. I'm going to color it yellow just temporarily so I can see it. Select both the rectangle and the guide and click on the rectangle to make it a key object. And go over here to Align, Vertical Align Center. And we are good there. Now we can get rid of that. And we can go back to View and Guides and Lock Guides again. And look at this. This is almost perfect. It's sitting right there on that baseline, which is where we want it to be. And then we'll align this to this guide right here. All right, that is following that grid very nicely. So now we're going to go here and we're going to add our little glow. All right, so now we can just select this whole thing. It doesn't matter that it's all grouped together. And we'll go up here to Effect, Stylize, and Outer Glow. And let's change the mode to Normal. And click on this color right here. And again, we'll bring back that pinkish hue. And let's set the opacity to about 50%. And then we'll set the blur to around 1 inch. And hit OK. And there's our very cool looking glowing sphere. And let's go ahead and refine our kerning in here. Kerning is a huge aspect of classic Swiss design posters, so always make sure that you go in and kern your type. Classic Swiss design kerning is pretty tight, but you still want to make sure that you've got a good amount of breathing room in between the letters. If you haven't seen my video on how to master kerning, definitely check that out right up here. All right, looking good. Here is our latest addition to our Are You Afraid of the Dark series, The Tale of the Sorcerer's Apprentice. I really hope this video was valuable to you. Please remember to hit like and subscribe. That helps me out with the growth of my channel. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.